Thank you, Mr. Chair. Meron lang akong mga katanungan dito sa, siguro kahit sino sa mga resource persons natin, or siguro sa Bureau of Customs. Paano po natin na, Mr. Chair, mabibigyan ng kapangyarihan ng mga OFWs para magsumbong ng ganitong scam na hindi sila matatakot na gantihan ng mga scammers na ito? Ano po ang mga legal avenues na available para sa ating mga OFWs?
DMW or USEC PY.
Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chair. Actually, sir, yun po ang dapat magiging intervention ko kanina. Una ho, isang pasasalamat po mula sa puso namin sa OWA at sa DMW sa efforts po ni Congressman Marisa Magsino sa pag-chair ng TWG pong ito, ng napaka-importanting issue. Ang aking pong sagot po at manifestation ay sana po ay maisama ang OWA as a signatory and participating agency po dito sa JAO. Kami po ay nangangako na magbibigay ng comments po namin dito sa existing draft. Bakit po? Unang-una po, as mentioned by the good senator, good congressman, good congressman po. Kailangan po nating mag-institutionalize ng isang grievance redress mechanism. Ang ating pong mga OFWs ay sana po'y bigyan natin ng platform kung saan pwede po silang tumawag, mag-email, sumagot, magtanong tungkol po sa isyong ito or kung meron po silang concerns. Hindi na ho natin kailangang gumawa pa. Ang OWA po ay meron pong sistema para dito. Meron po tayong 24/7 po na call center, yung hotline po natin. At sa mga susunod na linggo ay lalong papalakasin po itong call center na ito sa pamamagitan ng pag-combine ng efforts po ng DMW at OWA. So ito pong pag-institutionalize ng grievance redress mechanism, ang OWA at ang DMW ang magiging parang frontliners po, Mr. Chair, sa pag-accept ng mga concerns at ibabato po namin ito sa mga partner agencies para po ma-address yung concerns. Pangalawa po ay yung nasabi po kanina ni Attorney Doria na dapat po talaga i-integrate sa a pre-departure orientation seminar, among other seminars, ang pag-educate po sa ating po mga OFWs patungkol po sa mga I would say mga credible na consolidators. At ito pong pre-departure orientation seminar po, Mr. Chair, ay under po ng Overseas Workers and Welfare Administration. Pinaplano din po namin na reviewin ang curriculum ng PIDOS at i-update po ito at i-consult ang iba't ibang mga stakeholders para dito po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, USEC PY. Would like to hear from Attorney Grotto.
Mr. Chair, good morning, and to the honorable members of the committee and fellow public servant. In line with the question of the honorable member of the committee, if you look at the CAO that we have prepared, this is aligned with the JAO. But one of the critical concern for the BOC is to have what you call automation of the monitoring the balikbayan boxes. So meaning to say, if you are an OFW, the moment you send your balikbayan box, you have already an application, so that you will be monitoring your balikbayan box from the time you choose a consolidator until it is released. The problem right now is that our OFWs has no way of checking or monitoring the balikbayan box. And I am now the head of the Port Operations Service, and we are already entertaining these applications free of charge on the part of the government, or free of charge, so that this will help as well our balikbayan, our OFWs to be able to monitor. So this is part of the CAO, which is Balikbayan Box Monitoring Automation System. So aside from the fact that the consolidators has the obligation to inform the deconsolidators of the specific shipments to be done, and formation and acknowledgement of the decon here in the Philippines, the OFW, being the owner of that balimbay, should have the right, of course, and the access to the box itself. So where is it going, and whether it is already reached the Philippines, so that the information is available to him or to her. And so we are doing this as part of the marching order of our Customs Commissioner to digitalize our systems. And this is part of the CAO. The moment this will be approved by the Department of Finance, then we'll be able to come up with this particular system, which we are going to integrate with the DMW, the OWA, and the DOTR. So everyone would have the opportunity to look at the movement of these balikbayan boxes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Attorney, to better illustrate the suggestion that you have in mind, this basically works like yung parang pag nagpa-LBC ka, alam mo kung dumating na, o kung naglasada ka na lang, di ba? Dumating na sa port of distribution center, ganun.
Yes, sir.
So we anticipate it will look like that.
Yes, sir. Actually, the right now, the current system is that the OFW would write something on a piece of paper, right? So all the information, his name, passport number, and everything, so that it will be given to the consolidator and everything that is contained. What we are trying to envision is an application wherein everything is already on the app. Okay, and so this would be part of the information data system of the BOC as well as the DMW, so that everything is transparent. So that so from the shipping lines going to the Philippines, you know already what's the ETA or the estimated time of arrival.
And I understand, Attorney Grotto, that's something that's standard among other forwarders naman at this point, di ba?
Yes, sir. We can just integrate the system.
That's common business practice already.
Yes, sir. Because we have done with the other, let's say, for example, e-track of the containers. So we're doing already the digitization of that. So we would like to make sure that the balikbayan box would also have its own automation system, so that it will be easily accessible to our OFW, sir.
So
Thank you, Mr.
correct me
Chair.
if I'm wrong. If it's possible with your system, the system that you're suggesting, it would now be possible to specifically trace
Yes, sir.
this particular balikbayan box is in which container van and where that container van is until the time it's delivered to the
That is correct, Mr.
final
Chairman.
consignee.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Attorney, Kong Marisa.
Mr. Chair, follow up lang po, Attorney Brota. I would just like to make clear whether you already have that automation system or gagawin nyo pa lang ho, or you are already starting to do that one? Or meron po bang mga purchases na kailangan, or meron na po kayong ginagamit this time? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, the Honorable Marisa Magsino, actually we are dependent on the guidelines. So we cannot proceed with the automation without the CAO that we're trying to have it approved with the Department of Finance. But on a proactive approach, Mr. Chair, the members of the committee, we are already talking with service providers.
Okay.
Free of charge. So meaning to say they are presenting to us proposals on how to do the monitoring, the balikbayans. And we will be doing due diligence if these systems are really applicable and practical in so far as to the monitoring the balikbayan boxes. But we are doing that already. I think in so far as having discussions already with, yes, Mr. Chair.
Attorney, before I give the floor to the other members, because your suggestion is going to be a game changer. That's exactly what we're looking at from a more technical perspective, technical point of view. Is it possible that you put explicitly in the JAO?
I think, Mr. Chair, there is a provision in the JAO that provides for the ITC aided something, because
okay.
In the CAO that we have prepared, actually it's Attorney Doria as well, being the head of the PMO, it's really provided there that every system that we are trying to propose as a policy redirection, there is always the automation aspect, so that we will prevent already the manual processing, Mr.
And
Chair.
we expect it to be more explicitly provided for under the CAO.
Yes, sir. At the moment we have the CAO approved, we will have the specific CMO, the Customs Memorandum Order, to specifically provide the guidelines on how to do the digital form or the automated process. Again, it will go through the process of drafting the guidelines, and I'm sure Attorney Doria has already started one, because we have already one proponent for this particular matter.
Because what I was thinking, like, instead of having to wait for the CAO, make it more explicit na lang in the JAO. Like, instead of just the use of generic digital tools. They put it explicitly like a digital tracker or how do you call that, automated monitoring system, to make it more explicit so that the components will not be, as the regulation is transposed, sometimes we get to lose some of the details. But exactly as you've described it, it would be very helpful if we had that in place.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much. I think the TWG would welcome the proposal of the chairman on this particular matter.
Mr. Chair,
Well,
in addition to what I've asked earlier, meron po ba tayong success rate ang mga OFWs na nakaka-recover ng kanilang mga na-scam na mga balikbayan box? Kasi just last week, mga May 29, 2025, as posted by website ng Bureau of Customs, meron kayong natuklasan na 2,954 abandoned balikbayan boxes sa Port of Davao, which were given to the Department of Migrant Affairs workers for them to take charge in delivering these ballot boxes for your rightful owners. Ang tanong ko po, Mr. Chair, bakit po sa Port of Davao naglanding itong mga balikbayan boxes? Kailan po dumating ito? At saka sino po ang or forwarders dito? At ano po ang ginawa ng Bureau of Customs tungkol doon sa forwarder na ito? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. I'd like to ask the Bureau of Customs to respond, or DMW. I understand this is something that we've already
Yes, sir.
explained, but just for the...
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It so happened, Mr. Chair, that for the 12 containers containing 2,954 boxes, kaya po nasa Port of Davao dahil nung kinonsolidate po, pare-pareho pong Mindanao ang destination, kumbaga, ng mga consignee nila. So, all 2,954 po are actually I was supposed to say, I was supposed to use the term to be delivered, pero partially po kasi nagsisimula na kami mag-deliver since April and May. And then yung mga iba po ay tuloy-tuloy lang yung delivery namin. So buong Mindanao po ang coverage nito, Mr. Chair. Kaya po nasa Port of Davao yung destination nila.
Can we mention the forwarders involved? Do you have a copy? And what course of action have the department taken?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair. The deconsolidators are MBS Cargo Movers Company, TriStar Cargo Express International, and those two are the deconsolidators na nakapangalan po para dito sa 12 na to in several numbers. Parang for MBS, sir, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. For MBS, it's 4 containers. For TriStar, 8 containers po.
So hindi to sila na auction, hindi na natuloy. Donated na sa DMW, di ba?
Yes, sir. Originally po, auction sana yung option, but then because of the joint intervention, sir, saka yung pag-uusap po ng...
Is it possible you give us a list so we can hand it to the Honorable Plato, the list of the forwarders?
Yes, sir. We will provide, sir, yung latest na
Plus
report.
the contact details.
And sige po, we will provide that din, sir. So hindi na po ito na auction, Mr. Chair. Ang ginawa po dito, kasi kung auction, sir, Mona Lisa tayo, medyo mas mahirap yung ganong setup. Deed of donation na lang po kaming dalawa. Pinag-usapan po ito ng Bureau of Customs sa ng DMW. Para nang sa ganun po, hindi mahirapan yung ating mga consignees and mga OFW families. So we would take charge of the delivery po. Door to door pa rin po, sir, para po matanggap din nila yung kahon.
Mr. Chair, kasi po nakakagalit, pasensya na po, kasi nakakagalit talaga mga pangyayari na ganito. Kawawa naman po ang ating mga OFWs na umaasa sa kanilang balikbayan boxes makarating sa kanilang mahal sa buhay. Yung pala, nandun lang sa isang port na abandonado na.
For iteration lang, no, we request DMWD to submit a report of all the cases that were presented during the course of these hearings, of all those abandoned balikbayan boxes. The particular cases that were referred to this committee, and as well as the forwarders involved, and their contact details, just so we can consolidate it with the committee report as well, ASEC.
Yes, Mr. Chair. If I may suggest po, ano ko na rin. Yung case handling po actually sa kanyang investigation ginagawa po nila BOC, meron din po silang kabahagi dun sa report. And then the investigation is being handled by the Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau of the Department of Trade and Industry para po mapanagot kung meron mang pagkukulang o meron mang naging problema doon sa pag-handle ng mga balikbayan box.
Kasi even as we look at into the long-term efforts to address the regulatory gap, we also have to be mindful of the specific cases that were reported to this committee and also ensure that the proper course of action have been taken. So if the information, ASEC would be very helpful, especially in drafting the final committee report of this investigation.
Yes, sir. On the part of the MW, sir, we will submit kung ano po yung available sa amin.
So when do we expect the submission, ASEC?
I will just get the latest copy po, Mr. Chair, and then maglalagay lang kami ng konting updates, especially yung mga events from last week. And then we would
Kaya
forward.
by tomorrow so we can have the committee report approved by the committee on rules
Yes,
by
sir.
Tuesday?
We will po. And then, of course, I believe the other offices will also submit their
A
reports.
matrix would do, ASEC.
Yes po, sir.
Di naman kailangan narrative. Probably a matrix of the cases reported, action taken, as well as if that's okay.
Sir, just to be clear, when we speak of the cases, sir, it would be yung mga final against dito sa mga...
Yung mga ni-report sa atin sa committee. Remember the individuals who
Yes, sir.
presented affidavits? Diba?
Sige, sir.
Early on in this investigation.
Sige, sir. We will check po kung sino yung naging handling agency para dun sa
Sige
case.
po.
Kasi,
Kasi I'd like to believe sa inyo din matatapos kasi sa inyo kumuha ng action fund eh.
sir,
So
yung welfare assistance po kasi yung tinutukan namin initially.
Okay.
Saka yung delivery po. Yun po ang, kasi yun yung immediate na at least maibigay natin dun sa mga OFWs and OFW
But exactly
families
that's the
natin.
report that we wanted. Kung for those specific cases that were reported to this committee, at least you would have to signify kung nabigyan ba to ng na-releasean ba ng action fund
Yes, sir.
or whatsoever actions that were taken by the department.
Yes, sir. We will provide you, sir, with the list. If I'm not mistaken, the latest is 122 yung either in process or na-i-release na yung mga action fund benefits po nila. Yung iba po yung mga dumaan at in-endorse po ni Honorable Magsino at ng OFW Party List para nang sa ganun po ay matulungan yung handholding sa kanila. Actually, sir, sila Congresswoman Magsino yung unang nagsasala, diretso na po, kompleto na yung dokumento. So we're very thankful for that one, sir.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
Chair,
Thank you.
ako na.
Okay, Congresswoman.
Chairman, thank you so much also for the very good cooperation, the MWOA and of course BOC and all the other agencies with our Chairman Judas Sidre. Unang-una po, tatanungin ko lamang po, yung kaugnayan po, nung may 15 containers pa po tayo ng balikbayan boxes, nasakop din po ng deed of donation natin sa Department of Migrant Workers. Pwede ho bang tanungin kung meron na po ba tayong master list ng mga pangalan ng mga OFWs na nagmamay-ari po ng mga balikbayan boxes na laman ng mga containers na ito. Dahil meron po tayong 2 container na balikbayan boxes na nasa MICP Harbor container number BSIU 3212464 mula po sa Oman at container number, 2 po ito, mula naman po sa Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, container number MOTU 5810565 na tinurn over po ni Ms. Mona Lisa Tan. Meron na po ba tayong master list ng names ng mga OFW para malaman natin, para naman po ma-inform at magkaroon po ng hope ang ating mga sa mga balikbayan boxes na maibigay sa ating mga OFWs, Mr. Chair.
DMW?
I believe po yung nire-refer po ni Congresswoman Magsino as to the 15. These are the Mona Lisa.
Yes.
Yes po, ma'am. These are the Mona Lisa boxes. We have the list. At least we have the data for. Okay. Sige, thank you. We have po yung Sa 4 na container po ay meron kaming kopya, ma'am, noong yung manifesto at least yung listahan kung para kanino yung mga kahon. Ito po yung kinokontak ng DMW ngayon. We have a dedicated group of people handling it para po masamahan sila na i-claim yung mga kahon nila doon sa mga warehouse ni Ms. Mona Lisa. We have yet to receive the rest kasi hanggang ngayon po, if I'm not mistaken, ay walang pag-amin si Ms. Mona Lisa kung ilan talaga yung container na nasa sa kanya. We have written several times to her, and as we've mentioned in the last letter sa kanya, we would be pursuing the appropriate cases against sa kanya pag hindi po siya nakipag-cooperate.
Mr. Chair, nung last hearing po natin sa committee hearing, hindi pa TWG, sinabi po ni Ms. Mona Lisa Tan na 15 ang containers na naibigay sa kanya. Ngayon ito po, yung ating Oman at Saudi Arabia container, meron na po ba tayong nakita niyan, Yusek, or nasa BOC pa po itong container na ito?
Ma'am, yung pag na kay Ms. Mona Lisa na po yung container, ma'am, na-release na po. Ito yung part ng auction, Madam Chair. Ito po yung pinupursue natin ngayon na makuha namin yung buong manifest for the entire 15 containers para po ma-assist namin yung mga OFW sa kayo para
So
sa
you
mga
think
kahon.
the custody of those container parts are still with the Bureau of Customs?
No, sir. If it's already part of the auction, the custody would already be with Mona Lisa.
Kasi very specific yung container number po dito eh. Oo, so i-check po natin tong container numbers na to from Oman at Saudi Arabia. And then,
Ma'am, if you
Sige
may
po.
please, if you may kindly repeat lang po yung container
okay,
number, ma'am. I have that
container number from Oman, capital BSIU 3212464. From Oman po yan. Tapos from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia naman po, capital MOT as in tatay U 5810565 from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia po. Kasi I'm sure napakarami po mga OFWs natin, ang mga boxes nandyan, matagal nang hinihintay, Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
You said-
Ma'am, we have already written to Ms. Mona Lisa Tan as of April 30, ma'am, requesting for the list of the manifest for the OFW or OFW family consignees for that for those particular containers. To date, ma'am, unfortunately, she has not provided us with that.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair.
So is there any other course of action that we can take to compel Ms. Mona Lisa to BOC? Is there anything that we can do?
Hoard niya.
Mr. Chair, once again, so far as to the balikbayan boxes already given to Ma'am Mona Lisa, I think the BOC has no jurisdiction in so far as this because it's already auctioned. But again, it doesn't mean that the BOC will not look into this particular matter because it's a continuing effort on the part of the BOC to ensure that still this balikbayan boxes should. In fact, during the February hearing, Assistant Commissioner Vincent Maronilla made a commitment that there is a possibility that we can get all of these balikbayan boxes if there are still complications on how we can proceed with the distribution of this to our OFWs. So I will try to coordinate with ASCOM because he's the focal person insofar as to this particular matter. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We'd appreciate that, Attorney. I understand that the main reason why this happened is basically due to the gap in the regulatory framework that we have, and hopefully the JAO would provide the starting point towards creating a more responsive system in reference to balikbayan boxes.
Mr. Chair, if we would read the CAO that we have drafted, I think that answers all of the concerns that were raised during the February hearing. And it talks about making sure that even if the original deconsolidators will abandon all of this balikbayan, there is a system by which the BOC can assign a deconsolidator with the funding based on the escrow agreement or the part of the accreditation system that we would like to impose against the deconsolidators.
Thank you, Attorney.
Isang question.
Mr.
Kong.
Chair, if I may just add, yes,
You
sir.
sec-
Okay.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, while of course, while we do recognize that not only the legal possession but the legal right over those boxes as a
Ito.
result of
Ay,
the
isa na lang
auction,
to,
po,
kasi
as a
para
result
sa
of the
akin.
auction, we made it very clear to Ma'am Mona Lisa that her failure to cooperate, of course,
File a case.
is in a way, well, it's getting in the way of us providing the necessary assistance to our OFWs. And we made it really clear to her that if hindi pa rin po talaga siya makikipagtulungan at hindi namin talaga ito mariresolba ng mas maayos, we're very much willing to take any legal recourse or any possible action to properly represent our OFWs and OFW families for them to be able to recover the boxes.
To be more candid about your statement, ASEC, it means that
Magdemandahan
if
na lang po
she,
kami kung ayaw
if
pa rin po talaga niya.
if she fails to cooperate, then we'll take it as an indication of bad faith.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tatawagin.
That's it po.
Ay, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Para po sa DMW to, yung ating pong Department Order number 1, yung financial assistance po na 30,000 na ibibigay sa ating OFW na biktima po ng balikbayan boxes scam, nakasaad po doon na one-time assistance mula po sa Action Fund. Ang tanong po natin dito, regardless sa dami po ba ito ng mga balikbayan boxes ng isang OFW na apektado ng panloloko. Kasi di ba po meron tayo maximum limit na ang laman ng balikbayan boxes is 150,000 kada taon para ma-avail ang tax exemption. Kung gayon po, hindi po dapat ba may range yung financial assistance? Halimbawa, 30,000 to 50,000, depende po sa declared total value ng apektadong balikbayan boxes bawat biktimang OFW, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that suggestion, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, na-consider po sa totoo lang din yung valuation. Kaya lang, syempre, ang sa amin po, ma'am, pag may mga gray areas po kasi at may mga ganyan na ano tayo, na nagkakaroon, may possibility kasi ma-delay kasi i-assess pa, magpapaproduce pa po ng additional na documentation and the like. Ang sa atin po, ma'am, actually, hindi po para palitan yung kung magkano yun nandoon. Ito po ay para kahit papano ay makatulong at mabigyan ng, kumbaga naman, ma-uplift po ang ating mga OFWs na yung kung ano man po yung laman ng kahon. Kasi sabi nga po natin sa pagkakabanggit po ni Congressman Isidre kanina sa kanyang opening, it is not actually the monetary or it's not actually the financial value of what is inside the box. It is more of kung ano po yung sakripisyo at pagmamahal.
Okay.
Yun po yung binanggit kanina. So, yun po yung ating kahit papano ay pinipilit na tumbasan.
Okay. Mr. Chair, follow up lang.
Yes,
Oo, bakit po one-time mga assistance? Dahil alam naman po natin, taon-taon nagpapadala ng balikbayan boxes ang ating mga OFWs sa ating bansa. Maaari po maging biktima uli sila ng mga unscrupulous natin, mga mga modus operandi ng ating mga tiwaling consolidators and deconsolidators, kahit po may sapat na mga warnings or mga information dissemination sa pagpapadala ng ating OFW. Kung one time lang to, kung mabiktima na naman sila, wala na po ba silang maaasahan sa Action Fund?
Ma'am, actually po, una po, limitado ang pondo, ang Action Fund. Pangalawa, ma'am, umaasa po tayo na for this particular batch and for this particular time only, tayo na mangangailangang magbigay po ng Action Fund because we are looking at a longer-term solution to this issue. Unang-una po dyan, yung public information na pinagtutulungan na pong gawin ng BOC, ng DTI sa amin po sa Department of Migrant Workers. Kasama po ang aming mga migrant workers offices, katuwang po ang OWA at ang iba pa pong mga ahensya. At pangalawa, ma'am, we're hoping po na doon po sa pagripaso ng JAW at paglalabas ng CAW ay kung hindi man po bumaba, the intention is to actually deter na magkaroon pa ng ganitong problema. If I'm not mistaken, ma'am, kasama po sa provision dito na magkaroon ng, yun po yung inaayos pa, yung provision ng escrow or yung provision po ng isang pondo na kung saan ay eventually ang mananagot doon sa halaga ng sa balikbayan box ay hindi na po tayo sa gobyerno, bagkos ay yun po mismong mga nagnenegosyo, the consolidators and the consolidators themselves. Para po nang sa ganun, ma'am, kung may mangyari man po doon sa balikbayan box, we would not be taking that responsibility. It would now be primarily with the consolidators and the consolidators. And stating that, ma'am, palagi naman po namin binabanggit sa DMW. Bagamat ito po ang mga guidelines namin ngayon, ma'am, at kayo po ay lagi din namang nagpapaalala, kami naman po ay very flexible sa aming paglalabas ng guidelines. In fact, ma'am, yung pong binabanggit nating department circular na yan, supposedly for one time, pero kalalabas lang po last week yung ating revised department circular, the revised guidelines on the use of the action fund. Isiningit na po namin doon sa pangmatagalan ang pag-avail po kung sakasakali na meron pong magkaproblema pa tungkol sa balikbayan box. So, at iba pa pong uri ng scam na magiging biktima ang ating mga kababayang OFW. So, salamat po sa constant reminder, and we would continue to innovate and we would continue to provide the services po.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much. Napakagandang sagot. At kasama na rin pala sa Action Fund ang ating mga balikbayan boxes na magkakaroon na talaga ng budget dito sa ating Action Fund. Thank you so much. Kasi dati accommodation lang yan. Ngayon totoo na. Nasa budget na ng DMW. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Congressman
Mr. Chair.
Magsino. Congressman Busita.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, pwede bang malaman anong cargo forwarding company po ba ang nire-represent ni Ms. Mona Lisa Tan?
Monique. DMW. Kuan. Monique Rapide Transport Incorporated.
Monique?
Rapide.
Monique Rapide po. Tama po ba? Dali lang po.
Nandito ba
Monique
si-
Rapide?
Yes, sir. Monique Rapide Trans Incorporated. Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, paulit-ulit na lang nating nadidinig ito si Ms. Mona Lisa Tan. Ang daming complaints. Pwede po bang malaman sa DMW na ito po ba si Ms. Mona Lisa Tan ay may transaction pa rin? Nakapareho nito?
ASEC.
Sir, as far as DMW po is concerned, hindi po kami ang regular na ka-transact ni Ma'am Mona Lisa. Wala po kaming regulatory hold sa kanya, Mr. Chair. I think BOC has already taken action po on regarding Ms. Mona Lisa, and I think they've already taken a proactive action regarding this one.
Attorney Doria, sa BOC, meron pa ba? Transaction? Attorney Grotto.
Mr. Chair, once again, what we understood is that Ms. Mona Lisa and her company is a bidder, is not a deconsolidator insofar as the business of the consolidation. So in other words, if the company of Ms. Mona Lisa was qualified to bid during the auction for this particular bank, that's because there are criteria met at the port level of the MICP. So given that, we cannot go against Ma'am Mona Lisa as,
But just for the record, Attorney Broto, has she been participating in other subsequent auctions pa? Subsequent to the incident reported to the committee?
what I've heard is that this is the first time that she participated in the auction of Balikbayan
Then
boxes.
after that, wala nang
Oh,
subsequent, walang
I-
pending participation? Ongoing participation? I mean.
None, I think, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, pwede bang malaman po sa BOC? Meron po ba kayong list ng cargo forwarding companies na may kaparehong mga problema? In other words, yung may blacklist, nasa blacklist ba yung list ng mga ganitong mga cargo forwarding companies? Meron po ba, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, just to contextualize the situation, the BOC has no guidelines yet insofar as accreditation of the consolidators. That's the reason why we have drafted the CAO to ensure that it's not only the DTI that accepts application for accreditation. This time, the BOC will now be accepting the application for accreditation, and they will be considered as like ordinary importers and consignees. So they will be dealt in accordance with the provisions of the CMTA. And so because of that, we could not do the blacklisting because there is no accreditation from the BOC side. It's the DTI, FTEB, I think, that has the authority to do the blacklisting because it's the agency of the government that processes accreditation. It's not the BOC. So this time, given this particular situation, we will make sure that the BOC would have to exercise regulatory authority over all of the consolidators. And they will be beaten with specific sanctions under the provisions of the CMTA. In fact, there are two important provisions that we would like to highlight. One is the deposit of an amount of this is just the initial amount is 2.5 million, 500,000 coming from the consolidators, meaning the foreign, and the 2 million coming from the deconsolidators. They cannot be accredited with the Bureau of Customs without depositing this to the Bureau of Treasury. And another provision that highlights all of this would be the waiver and assignment of authority on the part of the original deconsolidator, so that if there is a default on their part, the district collector would now assign to another consolidator, so that the 2.5 million from the escrow will now be used to fund, for example, if they're talking about the services of the assigned the consolidator, so that 2.5 million will be used for the distribution, and of course the services rendered, because during the last hearing there was a mention, how would the deconsolidators would be able to profit from this? So there are service fees probably that will be paid to them, and also this would cover if there are storage fees, the duties, if there are applicable duties to be paid. And one thing is, if that particular escrow amount is already used, there will be replenishment before you can be renewed for another accreditation. So that's to make sure, Mr. Chair, that there is really a fund that would be used even if there is a defaulting deconsolidator on this particular situation or circumstance, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, in addition to what Attorney Broto has said, nung una po kasi, hindi po natin na-anticipate na may problema ng ganito kalaki about balikbayan boxes. In fact, during the passage of CMTA noong 2016, ito yung pinakauna natin ginawang regulation. Nagre-require tayo ng accreditation ng mga balikbayan boxes for forwarders or deconsolidators. Walang nagpa-accredit. 2016, mayroon tayong ginawa, inamend pa, kamuntikan pa mag-rally yung mga deconsolidators kasi masyado rong mahirap yung requirements. Inamend natin yung CAO na yon. Nag-issue tayo ng 3 customs memorandum orders, wala pa rin nagpa-accredit. Bakit? Kasi hindi naman sila nag-avail ng 800 na benefits eh. So kung gusto nilang mag-avail ng 800G, saka sila magpapa-accredit. So ngayon dito sa draft na CAO natin, regardless kung ang balikbayan box na pinaprocess nila ay nag-avail ng benefits ng 800G, covered na sila doon sa accreditation. So wala na tayong exemption. In fact, dito sa draft na regulation natin, kasama pati yung commercial deconsolidators. Pero just the same, wala na silang additional requirement. Kasi ang kailangan lang naman natin i-control yung mga nag-handle ng balikbayan boxes.
Mr. Chair. Gusto ko lang i-clarify, Mr. Chair, sa BOC, ibig po ba ninyong sabihin wala kayong list of consolidators? Meron po, wala?
Mr. Chair, just given to me by our chief of the PIAD, we made an announcement or notice of all the consolidators and deconsolidators with history of abandoned balikbayan boxes. So we have already posted this.
Advisory was dated on?
Dated April 29, sir, of this year. So the BOC already posted the list po, sir, of the consolidators and with history of abandoning the boxes. So at least to warn the public that these are that they should not consider these consolidators and the consolidators for bringing in their balikbayan boxes. Thanks, sir. Thank
Mr.
you,
Chair, pwede po bang mag-request na ang BOC mag-submit sa committee ng official list nitong mga consolidators na may problema?
Mr. Chair, we will comply po. Thank you very much, the Honorable Busita, sir.
Pwede kaya, Mr. Chair, malaman kailan po nila sa-submit ito?
Today po, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At BOC, tutulungan namin kayong mag-publish sa social media para kahit papaano, Mr. Chair, masakal itong mga tiwali na dugo at pawis ng ating mga kababayan, pinagsasamantala ng mga ito, no? So, thank you, Mr. Chair. And if I may, Mr. Chair,
Please proceed.
Congressman Busita. Yung po bang BOC, Mr. Chair, di po ba meron kayong list of consolidators na may mga problema? Tama, ano po? So, meron po kayong list of consolidators na magandang performance. Tama po? Siyempre, merong bad, merong good.
We will try to ask, Mr. Chair, the data and so far as to the good performing consolidators, because it's actually the DTI that has the list of the consolidators with contract to the consolidators.
But Attorney Broto, do we understand it, once we have the joint administrative order,
And the cow.
there will be a common
Yes.
database for
Yes,
all the
yes, Mr. Chair.
agencies?
Yes, Mr. Chair, because part of the accreditation document is for the deconsolidator to submit the service contract with an identified consolidator. So you cannot be accredited if you don't have the service contract, so that we will also identify who are these consolidators, and that we will also be informing the entire community of the OFWs who are those accredited and not accredited, to prevent fly-by-night con and deconsolidators, Mr. Chair.
And Attorney Grotto, siguro aside from simply blacklisting, we'll make sure na lang parang carrot and stick ba? Only those who use accredited deconsolidators or consolidators, dun lang tayo makaka-avail nung exemption from tax and duties. Para, syempre, I would prefer using this. Kahit sabihin na natin, nakamura ka nga dun, pero hindi naman siya accredited to undertake or to handle balikbayan boxes. So you cannot apply the duties and taxes, diba? The exemptions, I mean. But if we're using the accredited ones, then only then can you avail of the exemptions provided by law.
Well
Para
noted,
may
Mr.
carrot
Chair.
and stick naman tayo, di ba?
We appreciate your suggestion, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, Congressman Busita.
BOC, may sasubmit yung list ng consolidators na may problema. Tama po? Okay. Now, kaya nyo pong i-identify yung mga consolidators with good performance. Can you do that, BOC?
Mr. Chair, we can give the list as well of the consolidators with no record or derogatory, yes, and good standing, Mr. Chair. We can do that. Thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Ang purpose po kasi natin, pag ipinablish natin yung mga consolidators na may mga problema yung OFWs, ang tanong, next question is, kung sila ay mga ganito, na may mga problema ang OFWs, saan naman sila pwede? That's the purpose. Kaya kailangan po natin makita yung bad and good consolidators, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Pwede po, BOC.
Can we ask BOC to submit the consolidators in good standing? Probably also with DTI's how do you say? Yung information from DTI.
Yes. Within the day, Mr. Chair?
Looking forward siguro within the day, pwede din. But looking forward after the approval of the JAO that there'll be a common list na, di ba? Hindi na yung kami pa yung magko-compare ng listahan ng BOC at DTI.
So, BOC, can you submit that today?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Busita. Last questions from the Honorable Plato.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you sa ating mga colleagues sa mga resource persons. Panghuli na lang po ito, Mr. Chair. Susugan ko na rin yung nabanggit ni Congressman Busita tungkol sa mga good consolidators. Mari po ba nating makakatulong ang mga legitimong freight forwarders, yung mga legitimate forwarders, upang masugpo o matukoy ang mga scammers sa industriya nila? At sa kanilang pagtugon ay maaari ba silang mabigyan ng pabuya o can we give them incentives?
BOC.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
BOC.
The CMTA, the provision of CMTA allows reward to be given, specifically for those individuals who would give relevant information that would be helpful insofar as preventing smuggling or other illicit activities. So we have this system in the Bureau of Customs, and we reward, I should say, those individuals helping us in the agency or the Bureau. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, BOC. Okay, thank you, Congressman Plato. Ako, last few questions. No? Kanina, si Yusek PY presented some suggestions on the participation of OWA. Will the other agencies be willing to consider yung suggestion ni Yusek PY, especially with regards to the implementation of a grievance redress mechanism, as well as the integration of these issues into the pre-departure orientation seminar? Pwede ba? Would OWA submit, would it be possible for OWA to submit within the day the exact language that it want inserted into the JAW?
Mr. Chair, we will comply with this within the day. Thank you so much.
So ito na lang, diretsuhang tanong na lang, when do we expect the approval of the JAW? Kasi Congress will wrap up by next week eh. We're hoping sana na before we conclude our work here, we'll witness the signing. I'll be in DMW on Monday. So that's the, if you can indulge us with some extra focus and extra effort, if okay lang po. Can we have it next week? Jaw lang naman. You'll still have the time to...
Mr. Chair, wala naman po problema sa amin. Siguro po yung chair po ng TWG po yung patawag na lang po ng meeting, si DMW po.
Just the ceremony siguro, just for us to be able to ascertain and witness that the JAW is an accomplished matter. Anyway, I know medyo may isang layer pa yan with the cow eh, but let's work on the JAW. Can we have it approved? Anyway, there's a draft already, and OWA is willing to submit their proposal by the end of the day. Mayroon pa namang isang linggo.
We will...
So Monday would be a good time to do the signing. Since I will be the one going to DMW.
Mr. Chair, with due respect, let's do this because the 19th Congress is about to close, and we want this to be a legacy of the Committee of Workers' Affairs, and of course, our legacy with all the other principal authors, and of course, legacy na rin ng OFW Party List. So let's do this. Let's fight for our
Kaya ba?
legacy.
Kaya on Monday?
Bago ko po ipadala yung notice mamaya, ngayon pa lang po ini-inform ko na yung mga kasamahan namin, magmi-meeting po tayo bukas. Ayan po. So, papadala ko po yung formal notice mamaya, sir, and then i-attach ko na po ito with the deadline, and then magmi-meeting na po kami bukas.
We would really appreciate that, no?
Yes, sir.
And we understand that's only half the solution. We still hope that in the coming Congress, we'll be able to revise accordingly the statutory framework already, not just the joint administrative order, but I think the next 6 months to a year would be a good way of determining whether there is first a need for amendments to the existing law or policies, and second, if we can also look at the workability, the practicability of the changes that we have introduced using the JAW. So the JAW is just the first step. Eventually, it might come to a point that we'll have to legislate, but that would be for the next Congress to work on, the next committee chair to work on. But at this point, I hope you do us a favor by making that one bold step of really bringing this investigation to a happy conclusion.